The ominous solitude felt as you gallop through the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. The endless possibilities to explore in Zelda Breath of the Wild. The feeling of nostalgia rushing back in every playthrough of String Quest. The sheer importance of the creation of the Battletoads franchise. What do these all have in common? Nothing. But now that I have your attention, let's cure that nostalgic itch and go back to a simpler time of gaming with the creation story of String Quest. For those of you that know me, you should already be aware that I create a lot of my games in Game Maker Studios too. It's a game engine for creating quick prototypes and awesome 2D pixel art games. The problem is that it no longer gives me that excitement of learning something new and challenging myself creatively. So I decided Game Maker would not be an option for this jam. For those of you that haven't noticed, the channel is dying a slow and painful death. So in order to revive the channel, I needed a popular YouTuber to boost my status and enlarge my narcissistic behaviors. So I'm kind of in need of collabing with a celebrity to revive my channel. So do you want to do the Brackeys game jam with me?
Do you have over 50,000 subscribers? Because I don't really talk to small creators.
Now that we have our partner in crime, it's time to pick our engine of choice. Jakob does a lot of work in Unity, but he's kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to programming. He also didn't want to use an engine he is familiar with, so we decided to try something entirely new for both of us and make a game in Pico 8. Day 1 was all about brainstorming. We have 7 days before the game needs to be submitted, but with working full-time on my game Monster Tribe, live streaming every Thursday, and putting out YouTube content every Tuesday, I couldn't really afford to spend a ton of time on this jam. PolyMars is also insanely busy with school and his channel as well, so we decided to break things up into small chunks we can tackle each day to keep things fun and enjoyable. Jakob, please God, stop having bad ideas.
Dude, I think the post-mortem is a really good idea.
The theme chosen for the jam was Stronger Together, so here are some ideas we ended up with. We really like the idea of an adventure game with a chain between two controlled players in a dungeon crawler aesthetic. Day 2 starts, and now it's time to actually take on the programming of the game and creating simple art. We ended up splitting jobs to save on time, so Jakob will take on most of the programming while I will take on most of the art for the project. The result of day 2 is actually pretty satisfying. We have the main gameplay loop of 2 players moving on a grid with a line connecting them together and some template sprites to work with. You guys might know that Jakob is obsessed with the game Snake, so with that in mind, we stuck close to home, having the characters move similarly. Both players have a direction assigned to them by default. Pressing the arrow keys will change the selected player's direction and will then continuously move them in said direction. Swap between targets to change their individual paths and watch the magic unfold. Days 3 and 4 were spent redoing the art style with enemies, adding walls and spikes, adding an actual indicator to show the player you are selecting, and streaming the game's development.
Everything you draw is beautiful.
Thanks, man. I wish that was true.
Pico 8 allows you to only use their base 16 color palette, which doesn't allow for me to explore too much of my potential as an artist, so we decided to stick with a classic retro-inspired art style and have everything in black with simple 1 to 2 colors per sprite. More of like a 1-bit style, I guess. It is also pretty limiting being able to only sprite objects in an 8x8 canvas, so yeah, things are looking a little challenging for me too. We've got the basic movement down and a nice gameplay loop, so now it is time to add in the fun stuff. Jakob got to coding the enemy AI with all collisions and interactions working properly, and then we added in chests, keys, hearts, and coins. I'll try to break this down in the fastest way I can. Keys are pickups found in every 4th level of the game as an added bonus. If you pick up the key, you can run your character of the desired color into the treasure chest to open it, having a coin appear out of the chest. Again, make sure that you're using the right player as there are red chests and blue chests, but there are also hearts to be found in the game. If you complete a level without dying a single time, you will be rewarded with a heart pop-up. Collect hearts and coins to complete the game at a higher level of mastery. The last 2 remaining days were spent designing levels in the AWW app for those of you interested in using this for collaboration projects, coding in everything to work properly, designing the levels in the actual map editor, adding in sound effects, coding in enemy and player spawning, creating a start menu, an end screen, and designing a finished splash art for the game's itch.io page before submitting. I'm actually really happy with how the title art came out, seeing as this was started around 2 a.m. on the final day with the jam ending at 6 a.m. my time. Man, when I tell you this final day was hectic, that is an understatement. I had to help my parents move out over the weekend of the jam, so on top of spending a 10-hour day moving out furniture and loading a full truck, I then had about a half hour to relax before heading on a call with Jakob. We started at 9 p.m. my time and didn't finish until 18 minutes before the deadline. This is why I don't partake in many game jams. No matter how hard I try to prevent the stress of submission day, it always seems to bite me in the ass and get stressful anyway. Regardless, we submitted the game. Well, Jakob submitted the game. I literally fell asleep 15 minutes before we finished, which was honestly heartbreaking after working all night on it, but I had to wake up for 7 a.m. the next morning to unload the truck we just packed the previous day, so Jakob was pretty cool about me knocking out before submission. You can play the game for yourself, which will be the first link in the description. It has already gotten some pretty amazing feedback since rating started, and we are beyond proud of the game that we created. It was a super fun experience for us to learn a new piece of software over the course of the event, and please make sure to subscribe to PolyMars if you haven't already. He's going to be dropping some amazing content soon, so please just look out for that. Thanks again to Jakob for working with me on this jam. We had a blast working on this game, and you will definitely be seeing more crossovers with us in the future.